Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mancunian Way Blues Down Under. I'm your host, Patrick, back in the hot seat, and Rich and Governor are in the building tonight. We are back, gentlemen, back after a nice little, well, summer break for us, I guess, in this neck of the woods, but good to see you both. Have you been well?
Yep, all good.
Not too bad.
Nice
Not
and
too
warm.
bad.
Yeah, it's
Nice
been
and
good,
hot.
mate. Yeah, enjoying this warm weather. I tried to promise myself on the way home from work that we wouldn't talk about the Ashes, but I'm sure this is, it's what we're all looking forward to this week anyway. But I just thought I'd quickly get it out of the way rather than consuming the rest of the show.
Yeah, no, it's going to be
Before
great
Martin
when
comes on.
it's only 2-1. So, it'll be great celebrating in Adelaide and then getting
That's
down
right.
for finishing off in Melbourne and Sydney.
Knowing your luck, mate, you'll have a 350-run lead, and then all of a sudden, just Adelaide will have unseasonal weather for the last 2.5 days, and we'll just
It's going to be a
wrap up the Ashes. We'll
be
just
a
wrap up the
stinker as
Ashes
well,
with a
isn't it?
whimper.
Hey, it's going to be 39, I think, on the Thursday.
Yeah,
That's a moderate day in Adelaide.
And it's going to be a stinker.
Friday, so I'm not sure. Yeah,
Proper, mate.
I'm not
Proper.
sure. I should probably have a look, actually.
Yeah, Governor. Obviously, you weren't on the show with us a few hours ago when we did our post-match of Palace. I'll get your thoughts about it in a minute, but mate, if you just wanted to say a couple of things about obviously what happened here on Sunday, down in Bondi. Obviously, a few of us down here, it's a little bit closer to home, but it's a bit of a shock to the system, isn't it, when you think of something like that happening, close to your backyard, basically.
Yeah, I thought you'd. Yeah, I was going to say I didn't want to mention it really because I'll just go off on one, and I don't want to.
No, understood.
Do you know what I mean? So the less said
yeah.
about it, the better, really, because I'd just go off on one.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. I mean, obviously, again, we just sent our deepest condolences to those affected, and
yes,
it's just terrible, just terrible. But yeah, look, we said what we needed to say on the show earlier, so yeah. And everybody else too. Big thanks for all your support and all your messages as well. As I said, most of us are doing fine. I just wanted to say though, I don't think I mentioned it quickly, but we do have a friend of ours who's a member of our Sydney Blues, and they do have a close friend or mutual friend who was one of the people shot. Apparently they are recovering. They got shot in the shoulder. They are recovering, so we wish them all the best. Wish them a speedy, of course. So it does hit you a bit when it's a little bit closer to home than what you not only what you're expecting, but you're hoping as well. So it's what it is. But look, on a more positive note, obviously, mate, been a fantastic couple of weeks since we last were on Blues Down Under. Had a good win against Sunderland. And then obviously going to the Bernabeu, doing what we did there was brilliant, absolutely spectacular. And then to finish it off, we're probably a bit skeptical, probably talk about this for weeks on end about this Palace fixture, about how it's had the potential to be as difficult as anything we've done over the last few weeks. But passed the test with flying colours, and got to give credit to where it's due. Palace did give it a go. But I think at the end of the day, our quality just shone through, mate. I don't know if you feel the same way, but, certainly a lot of positives to take over the last few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, the Madrid game was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The boys dug in. Absolutely great. Nico G is just growing and growing all the time. O'Reilly, all the back line, the defence, everyone really. You can mention everyone. And I look back at the game, and I've watched the clips on Doku, and he's just amazing, the clips. Like, he just took the piss. Do you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't handle him. So that was amazing. That brilliant.
I mean, our whole left side, man. Nico O'Reilly from the get-go was incredible too.
Oh, for his age, against Real Madrid, like, just getting better and better. Nunes the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If you just let's say if you just woken up from like a 10-year coma and this is the first time you watch City, and you saw Nico O'Reilly just from a distance, and you didn't hear the commentary, then nobody knew about how old he was. By the way he plays the game, how old would you think he is?
That's what I mean.
Based on his footballing maturity.
He has got a mature head on. He's just calm, isn't he? He's just the way he is. You know what I mean? You think he will be?
He looks like about a 26, 27-year-old.
Yeah, I was going to say late 20s.
Brain, yeah.
He's just calm. He's just really good.
Yeah.
And you can sort of tell whatever he's been told, it sinks in. He's taking it in. Do you know what I mean? And he's learning off the guys around him as well. So, great performance. The same as we're digging in now. We struggle, and then we're digging. It's like the Leeds game as well. We're getting over the line now with these games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but not necessarily brilliant, but we're certainly effective.
Yes. And the Palace game, brilliant. I mean, the first half, Palace were just there like as if they were just sat there waiting for us to do something. Like they were waiting to see what we was going to do. Yeah. And then it didn't come to I think it was the 40th minute. I don't know if it was Haaland's second touch in the game. Put the ball in the box, and there you go, 1-0. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like we was it wasn't tippy tappy, but it was side to side. The Palace were waiting for us. As soon as that ball went in, do you know what I mean? Brilliant.
I said this
second goal
on the show earlier. I said the thing with Palace in that first half was, I'm not taking credit away from what they did because they created opportunities. And Adam Morton is incredible. I think he's
Morton was everywhere.
He's definitely one in the crosshairs for the future. I think
he was winning the show.
They want to talk about it, like they're saying how close they came to scoring and things like that, and they were creating opportunities. Why aren't we talking about how well disciplined our defense was? Because every time they had a chance to go forward, they were always offside, or they were marginally offside.
Yeah, true. There was a lot of offsides. On another day, if they had their players back, it could have been a different story. But even for the second goal, Nunes made that second goal, doing the press, winning the ball back. He made that second goal. If you look back at it, brilliant. But yeah, brilliant. You can't fault them at the moment.
No.
Do
you think
they're doing the job?
Do you think if this had been a Palace side that wasn't necessarily playing, will have just played about, consecutively for about 3 days apart, now they're meant to be playing 4 fixtures over 9 days. Do you think that sort of maybe benefit us a little bit? Because I also think that if you play teams that aren't necessarily familiar with season in, season out, playing a bit more fixtures, I think it sort of affects their performance a little bit. I know December, every team is in a way does get affected by playing every 3 days to some extent.
Squad. Yeah, I don't think they've got the squad to do that. And the injuries don't help. Do you know what I mean?
And their positioning in the Conference League too. Like I don't think they've had. They may have had 1 or 2 wins. They're not high up in the table of the Conference League too. But also, I think a few people were pointing out before we played them that 4 times in Europe. The 4 matches that they played in Europe when they played the Premier League the following weekend, they haven't had a victory. So it does take a lot out of the squads. And
it's Thursday night as well, and that's you got to remember. It's Thursday night, and they might they don't have Etihad giving them private jets probably, so they might well come back Friday morning. And if they're playing Sunday, which they normally would be, it's still you know, you get home, you probably don't train Friday, you've probably got get together on Saturday, and that's it. So
it's a narrow pitch there as well, isn't it? So a lot was played through the middle because it's a narrow pitch.
Yeah, and I think, and I've said this too when we played at Selhurst as well. I think it was not last season, but the season before. I remember how much we loved the Rico and Oscar Bobbling Cup. Now, I think a lot of water's gone under the bridge in recent times, obviously. But you know, it'd be nice to see them back doing that again. But again, I think, you know, a lot's changed over the last season or two, basically. But you know, every time we come to a ground like Selhurst, I always wonder if that sort of link up is going to happen again. Because I remember when it did, it was fantastic. We loved watching it, but you know, things have changed a little bit anyway. Yeah, but now look,
just a quick one on that Real Madrid. Did you hear about the esports kit that they were wearing? Did you hear about the badge? Apparently, there's a chip in the badge, and if you scan it, you can win prizes.
Okay,
have you heard that?
No, but
yeah, it was on the.
Well, Florentine Perez scanned it and he couldn't get 3 points. We tried to get a few penalties, but yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was on the actual City show that Natalie Pike was saying. There was a chip in the badge.
Okay.
You can win prizes if you scan it. I don't know if it's in every
next month, mate. I might suss it out because I know that kit's a bit of a hit and miss for me. Like from a distance, it looks really good, but then when you see all that patterning, I'm kind of like, no, it doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if it's in every official shirt, but it must be if she says that.
I'm not too sure. Mac has just joined us in the comments there. Unfortunately, can't make it this evening, but mate, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. And yeah, hopefully, if you can make it to Cheers on Thursday morning, mate, let me know because I should be able to make that one too. Yeah, but that's all good. Yeah. Who else is in? Blue Heart this evening. The run is nicely shaped at the moment. 3 points again at the weekend. An adequate performance, if nerd tugging at times. Really enjoyed the Nunes tram drive across and the Viking getting a praise. Yeah, true, mate. Yeah. He has been a bit quiet, hasn't he, Alan, over the last couple of weeks? He hasn't.
It's very hard when City win and Nunes plays well. What does he have to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So he's obviously hoping for 3-0 in the Ashes then.
That might cheer him up if we get battered inside a day and a half.
No, right. Oh, yeah. And now they've got their bowlers back now, eh?
Yeah, true, mate. Paddy Cummins is back. Yeah, happy days. We're looking really good.
And Lions.
Yeah. No, really, really good, guys.
Available the whole time, but yeah.
Yeah. No, guys, okay. Obviously, tonight's chat was going to be about the upcoming match against Brentford in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. A tournament that we certainly love, regardless win, lose, or draw. We certainly love because we know the rest of English football doesn't seem to bat an eyelid at it. But I want to probably talk about a few things. I want to get your thoughts about this game because I think there's going to be, I think all of us are probably in agreement that maybe even a heavy bit of rotation here. You know, we've got a lot of players have been playing in the same lineup for quite a few weeks now. So I don't know how you feel about it. I've got kind of mixed reactions about it, but I thought, you know, we might want to talk about it because I also think that going deep in this competition is certainly going to help us in the attempt to try and win others. So I don't know, see what you guys want to have to say, but I also think of this too, where it's like this is you know, Brentford always known as being a plucky side, and I always feel like these sort of teams might be a good opportunity for them to actually try and pursue some silverware.
I think it's a really difficult one because we say teams pursue silverware, but very, very rarely do Premier League teams play anything like a full strength team in the Carling Cup, and we've seen it constantly. So we've got no idea what Brentford's team is going to be like, and let's be honest, there can't be many City fans who know what Brentford's reserves are like. So we really don't know what we're coming up against. If it was a league game and we're thinking full strength City, full strength Brentford, then you'd be thinking, you know, City will go fine. You know, in a cup game, we don't know if it's going to be fairly strong City against a very weak Brentford or a very strong Brentford against a fairly weak City. So in a sense, it's very hard to predict anything until the actual kickoff. I would be surprised if they don't rest 5 or 6 players because staying in the Premier League is worth 100 times more than the Carabao Cup. And City, we know what we're like in this competition. We'll play 4 or 5 of our, say there's 14 players at the moment who seem to be trusted. We'll probably play 4 or 5 of them, and we'll probably play 6 or 7 players, including, possibly one of the kids. And who knows what they'll play like, because, we saw against Leverkusen what the drop-off is between, a strong City side and one with, 11 backups in. We know that our main, normally we'd see Marmoush in this, but he's gone. So if they rest Haaland, they're going to have to play a non-striker at 9. We've got the dilemma on Gonzalez because Kovacic and Rodri aren't back. So if we risk Gonzalez, who's probably played too much football, I suspect the only thing we're going to be able to do is do a Bernardo Reinders combo in 6 and 8, because I think they'll have to rest Gonzalez for this game. But I'm not sure there's anyone else apart from Gonzalez and Reinders who, Bernardo and Reinders who can do it. But playing Bernardo in the Carabao Cup seems like madness and not something we've done. So it'll be very interesting to see what's clicking away in Pep's head.
Would you also consider that there's a possibility that we may even consider resting, instead of resting at Brentford, there may even be some rest of West Ham, because West Ham are not. I know it's the Premier League; the games are going to be a lot more competitive, but we know how poor West Ham have been this season.
No, Pat, I think even though it is West Ham, I still think we'll put the strongest side out against West Ham. Yeah. I think this is the game to rest players. This is, and they don't have to rest; they'll be on the bench if they have to come on. Do you know what I mean? But this is the game to rest if you're going to rest anyone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then full strength against West Ham.
Trafford will be in. We've got a dilemma at left back because
here's a question here, David Mishra just put up. Who do you think?
And then West Ham show no mercy. Full strength side.
I think Kuzanov. Yeah,
I'm thinking Kuzanov and Ait-Nouri. I mean, he needs the minutes.
Well, Ait-Nouri's gone. Ait-Nouri's on a.
Ait-Nouri's gone.
In Africa.
Oh, that's right.
So Ait-Nouri and Marmoush are gone. So
apologies, I completely missed that.
He's going to have to decide either O'Reilly or Gvardiol. One of them gets the rest, but the other one doesn't. Yeah. So
Ake will be in there, won't he? Ake.
Yeah, but Ake, if Gvardiol goes to left back, then Ake plays.
You wouldn't consider resting Gvardiol? I mean, he's played majority of the last.
Well, then they're going to have to play Diaz. They're probably going to have to play Diaz then, and O'Reilly. So we haven't got massive. We are going to have to make a call probably on resting 2 defenders. I think Nunes will be one, and I think we'll rest one of the others. But I think 2 of them will probably have to play.
It's Nunes or Gvardiol, isn't it?
Danny's talking sense here.
I think number 6 is going to be interesting. I think he's experimented Reinders there a few times and it hasn't been very good. But Reinders, if he had Bernardo supporting him, could do it. But then, does he want to play Bernardo? Maybe because it's West Ham Saturday, he can rest Gonzalez and play them. I don't know. Like,
would you rest Haaland and maybe give Divi Mukasa a go?
Yeah, I reckon.
I think he'll definitely want to rest Haaland.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. I think they'll be on the bench. Put Mukasa up front, and they're on the bench. They're there if they need to come on.
And let's be honest, the other fixtures, he hasn't put a foot wrong. I mean, he was a bit quiet against Swansea, but Huddersfield, he was good.
So, someone like Bob probably has to play. Savino probably has to play, and then Cherky or Foden, one of them, whichever one he thinks has got the most legs in them out of Foden and Cherky probably plays.
Yeah.
So I think it's I think we're going to see a couple of defenders, a couple of centre midfielders who would be starting players, and the rest would probably be slightly fringe.
So then, if you wanted to if you're looking at proper rotation, then would you even look at the typical? Would you even look at Kuzanov as centre back, and then Rico as right back / inverter.
Yeah, I mean, he could do that, I suppose, especially if Bob's playing. You know, he could go Kuznov, give Vardiol and Diaz a rest.
I don't know.
You might want one of those two in as an experienced head. Although I guess Ake's ahead, but I'm assuming that this is based on the assumption that God isn't back from his little injury, and that Rodri is still injured. Obviously, if Stones or Rodri are available, that changes things up, because if Rodri could do 45 minutes, you could give Nico 45 and Rodri 45 and not worry. And if Stones was back, you could then rest another defender, Stones and Ake and Kuznov, and could play 3 of the 4 in the back.
Stone's injured though. Is he still injured or not?
Well, it's a weird one, because we were under the impression he was going to be out for months, and then was it Pep or somebody came? I think it was Colo Toure did the press conference the other day. He said, "No, it's nothing to worry about, or there's no need to be upset." He said something along the lines that it's nothing major, maybe a couple of weeks at worst or something. So we don't know. We'll wait and see. But then again, as with John Stones, it's how long is a piece of string? I guess
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
This is the game to do that sort of thing. Yeah.
See, I'm kind of torn myself, because yes, I think there's a lot of players that need some rest. They deserve it, and some of these players at the moment, a week off will feel like almost a short summer break. They feel like they have as much time off as they did after the Club World Cup. But I also think that I want to see the balance between, rotating players because they need it, and also taking this competition seriously. And I don't mean just in the way of like, I want me personally because I want the Carabao back. I think we all do. Again, I've always had that agreement that we love it because everybody else sort of just brushes it aside, basically. But I'm kind of drawing parallels this season to kind of like what was happening in the Centurions. I'm not talking about dominating the league or anything like that. I'm saying when you think about those players that Pep had and the ones that he brought in, there was a bit of a combination of players that already were settled at the club and the new players were coming in. And I think what was so important in terms of what we did in that season, the fact that we dominated and we continued to play great football all the way through to May of that season, was, I think, winning the Carabao Cup. And I think it certainly helped a lot of those players, because for some of those players, it was their first trophy that they'd ever really won. And I feel like with all these new players that we have coming in now into this squad, if they have something to play for and they have something that they can win, something that they can hold on to from February of the season, from February through to May, I think it will just help launch the squad in terms of pursuing the Premier League and the Champions League if we do go deep. So
if we can afford the minutes, but we're not going to risk a single Premier League point for the Carabao Cup. If you
understood, today, and I think sometimes you need a little bit of a draw as well too. So
if you said to Pep, you can win the Carabao Cup, but you're going to drop points in your next 2 league games, he'd say no. We're getting points in the next 2 league games. The Carabao Cup is a little, the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup.
It's a bonus.
As far as players concerned, bonuses. It's about the Champions League and the Premier League.
Yeah, and to be honest, as well, like I think when you actually look at the schedule, the scheduling, if we do progress in this tournament, you're looking at the semi-finals, because anybody out there who doesn't know, it does go over 2 legs. You are looking at those fixtures roughly being around about, I think, this end of January, start of February. I'm pretty sure the first leg is actually wedged in between Spurs and Liverpool away. That's a huge 3 set of games. So it doesn't matter who you draw in that semi-final. That's a huge set of games there that you've got to play as well. And maybe, just maybe, there might be that little period of the season where having a week off in between might actually be a huge benefit. I'm sure the players want to win and they want to progress as far as they can, but sometimes you got to take a step back to take more steps forward.
That's assuming you get top 8 in the Champions League. If you don't get top 8 in the Champions League, you are then backing up the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup and the knockout of the Champions League, as well as the regular league fixture and 2 FA Cup fixtures into 1 month. And if you do that, you're going to have probably multiple games postponed, which means you're going to be backing up. It's going to get nasty, and that's the problem. That said,
this is where Pep comes into his own, though, isn't it, Rich? Where he manages the side. You know this is going to happen. You know we're going to have the build-up.
Like Nuri, Rodri, Kovacic, if they're back, or we have some new signings and we suddenly have a bigger pool of players again, you wouldn't be worried. If we were playing Brentford and Rodri comes in for Nico and Marmoush comes in for Haaland, you would, Doku's fit, you suddenly wouldn't be worried about 5 or 6 changes because it would look really good.
When we get Rodri back, it's like getting a new player, isn't it?
Oh, when you've been out that long, absolutely, yeah. And you said before, Rich, you said you'd have a 60% Rodri over a fully fit, say, Zubimendi or something anyway.
Yeah. But I'd have
a fully fit do a job.
Gonzalez. I think Nico Gonzalez is doing a better job than the Arsenal. We hear about how unbelievably amazing the Arsenal midfielders are. I think Nico is doing a job above their level at the moment this season.
Yeah. And then, obviously Rodri's not going to sit on the bench. Nico, and they rotate, they can't play every game. So this theory about players aren't going to sit on the bench, they're not going to sit on the bench all the time. They'll rotate them. I know if they're on a good run, they will. But Rodri, same thing, we've got to bring him in slow. And he'll get back. Yeah, hopefully he'll get back. All right, there's a question mark on the contracts, but they've got to sort that end out of it as well.
I'll ask you this question, Governor. You brought it up, and there's something that I discussed in the previous show was about Rodri, and I think a few people have that little bit of concern because the longer he takes to come back, the closer it's going to come towards, he's getting towards the remainder of his contract, which I think he's inside 2 years, only 2 years left now, I think. A season and a half maybe left or something like that. Now, we've always said that when players get inside, say, the last 2 years of their contract, then they start holding all the cards, basically, because they can obviously use the free transfer, the signing on bonus when they go to the new club. They basically pull all the strings. They have the final say on a lot of things. Do you think, though, with Rodri, I think there's enough of a mutual understanding and certainly a mutual respect between himself and the club and the manager and Khaldoon, whoever, Hugo, hopefully Hugo as well, that they're willing to probably put all these contract talks on hold. We don't know the full story. He could already be signed a new contract for all we know. But do you think they're willing enough to be able to put it on hold where it's like, I'll wait and see how my body recovers, see how my mind recovers, and then once we know that we've got it may not be 100% Rodri back, but it may be a lot of the old Rodri might be back, that then they might start looking at possibly extending him, or
we're guessing
for a few more years.
I know we're guessing, but I said, I think last time we was on here, I said the club. I reckon the club are waiting, not Rodri, to see on his fitness. I reckon it's the club. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also try to look at it as based on the character of the player as well too. And Rodri's always been such a important, not just an important part of the team too, but he just seems to be it seems to be like someone who is the club must find really easy to work with as well.
I'd be very surprised if someone's turned his head. That would really shock me if someone has turned his head. Really would.
Yeah,
I honestly think at the moment, Rodri, I said this a couple of weeks ago on the show, I think it's probably as much mental as physical now, and him mentally feeling his body's strong enough, because it's very clear. The message from the club is he's training at full pace, he's training fine, and, he's, that's been a clear message by club spokesman. So it suggests to me he just isn't mentally feeling, or he's feeling his body isn't quite right, and he's not quite confident enough that he can do it. So I suspect he's totally focused on that, to be honest. And if he's worried about his bodies, he's not going to be sitting there, getting overly worried about, his next deal. He's going to be thinking, I want to play again. I want to be at the top of the game. He's never been massively money motivated. He drives the worst car. He
donates like a third of his wages to charity.
When he was first a professional footballer, he lived in a hall of residence, and so I just don't think he's not. He might be motivated by wanting to go back to somewhere hot and sunny, and a bit like
I think they all do in the end.
yeah, go home, play near a club you love, back in Spain. Yeah, so that may be a motivation. He may feel that this has shortened his career by a few years, even, he may feel. So I think we just need to wait and see. But I think he's obviously training well. He's obviously, the club obviously think he could be pretty much coming back, but he obviously feels, I don't feel right. Something feels like it's going to go. Because then no one at the club ever said he had a hamstring injury. They just said his hamstring didn't feel right. So that means his movement, something in it's making him think, I'm about to tear a hamstring if I continue doing this, rather than him actually tearing a hamstring.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's just, it's going to require one game where he just suddenly feels it's right.
With these big injuries, it's same with a lot of players, even Van Dijk when he went out, didn't he? I think with these players, it's in the head. It's not so much the injury. I think it's mentally in their head.
You know what it was, Governor? Do you remember when
they still do it?
Do you remember when John Stones did something to his hamstring in the Centurion season? And I think it was away at Leicester, and leading up to that, he was obviously had that partnership with Nico Otamendi. No, fantastic. But when he came back from that injury, it was nowhere near the same player. And I think it was because I think that messed with him.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem with a lot of players too, because
I think individual
you might come
players,
back and your hamstrings, your muscles might be fine, but it's up here. That's where it becomes a big factor. Yeah.
And it's different it's different with different players, how they cope with it.
No, I agree, mate. No, it's just made some good points there, I think. But you look at it now, and I think we can certainly talk about, we're grateful, we're hopeful that he comes back as well too. But it's remarkable how quickly. I'm not saying we've moved on, but we've been able to sort of learn to cope without having him around. And
yep.
And I hate to say it, but it was like when Kevin was out for long periods of time with injury, it allowed you to sort of learn to accept, like, oh, what's life going to be like without Kev? And as much as I don't want to think about life without Rodri,
but then you move
these
on.
last few months are certainly let's just say they'll soften the blow whenever it happens in X amount of years' time.
Yeah, I think then you move on to, for cover, like transfers and that, and like if Nico G gets injured and Rodri's not back again, we'll be knackered, aren't we? So I've said it before. I've said I think it'll be very hard, but I reckon we'll get our business done early. I've always said, because of the World Cup and getting players. It will be hard to get players in January, but I still think we'll get our work done early because of the likes of Bernardo, Kovo, these sort of players. We need cover. We definitely need the cover. Yeah. I don't know if you're going to get these players in January, though. We might get them in summer. I don't know about January. And for me, and Bernardo as well.
Well, I think one for me, that actually, and talk about transfers, because there has been a few things come up over the last few days. But carry on, Gav. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the one for me, I know everyone mentions Wharton, but Anderson for me is more physical. And I think he could do Bernardo's job. I really do think. And it wouldn't affect the middle. Let him just do a Bernardo job. I would get Anderson.
Do you think he's got the brain though? I think Bernardo is the smartest player who's played for City under Pep, and I'm not sure we could go and spend 150 million on a player. We'd get someone who could do Bernardo's job.
Yeah, but Pat, he's doing it with Nico G. He's teaching him. He's teaching Nico G now. He can teach players.
He's bringing versatility into their game.
He's box to box. He's everywhere. Same with Wharton in a way. But I only choose Anderson because he's the physical presence more than Wharton. Because we have been bullied a few times in midfield. That's the only reason I want that strength in midfield. I know he's techie, Wharton, but I want that physical presence in midfield.
Yeah. I don't like making opinions about players after one game, but he looked so solid out there against us.
I thought Wharton. I think Wharton.
I like them both. I like them both.
I think he's different class, Wharton. I think Wharton is capable of being, a midfield up there in the best midfields. I'm not sure Anderson.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure Anderson's got
only because of the bigger build. they both. I like them both, but I just think because he's a bigger build, he can put himself about a bit more. That's all. Just because we've been bullied a couple of times.
Yeah, but I think we need to talk. We need to talk about transfers because really, when you think about it,
I think Rodri solves that. I think if Rodri's back, if you had Rodri,
there you go,
and Foden, you don't get bullied. So
that's right.
Rodri solves that straight away.
Yeah,
I'm not writing him off at all. You know.
Yeah. No, I think. No, look, I'll get on to the transfers anyway because if you haven't seen, but there was a bit of news coming out that City are showing interest in Crystal Palace defender Mark Gahey, which we talked about this from basically the start of the season, because I think the main headlines were after Liverpool had just broke their bank, getting all those players in, talking about how much they just completely ignored the lack of depth that Liverpool, the lack of depth that they decided to purchase in defense, basically. And, it's funny how things work, in a way. And now they're talking about, possibly getting an English centre-back in who's only got about 6 months left of his contract. And whichever rumours you want to believe, but the talk is somewhere in the region of about 30 to 35 million pounds. Now, might seem like a lot for 6 months, but Crystal Palace will be looking to cash in because, he is going to go on a free if they don't get him out this January transfer window. But for me, 30 million for a recognised, well-established English centre-back.
Steal.
Absolute steal. I couldn't see anything wrong with that. And, and yes, it might be a little bit different circumstances where he may have to compete for his spot. If he went to Liverpool, there's probably every chance that he'll be an absolute shoo-in into that squad, basically. But, given the fact that Liverpool have so many question marks about everything in the club at the moment, from the manager to the players and everything in between, I think if we just sell a bit of the project, the club's ambitions and that to Mark Gahey, I think he'd sign in a heartbeat.
If you're an ambitious left-sided centre-back, why would you go and sign for a club with the best left-sided centre-back in world football in it who's young? Like, to me, that's writing off your career. And unless we think Guardiola's going, and I hope he isn't, I hope Guardiola's going to be a 500 appearance player for City, I don't see why Gray, unless we think he's going to, unless he's...
You can play both sides, Rich, can't you?
Yeah, but then Diaz is playing phenomenally, and we're going to play... There's no way we're not going to play Diaz in a big game. So if I'm him, I'm looking at Diaz has got 6-7 years at the top level left. Guardiola's got a decade, more than a decade. Would you really want to go into that? Whereas you look at... I'm just saying, if you look at Liverpool...
Yeah. You've got a point.
Canate's gone this summer. Canate's gone, and Van Dijk has got a year or two left. So you're looking there and you're thinking, this defence can be built around me in the future. If you're looking at City, I could win some trophies, but I might only start 15 Premier League games. I might not start any of the big games, because if he joins us in January and we get to a Champions League final, he's not starting it unless Guardiola or Diaz is injured. So, to me,
what's the option from that, Rich? What's the other option? Because, what is the option when
we may have a fire sale over the next 6 months or so with English players.
It's perfect for us. We get rid of that. We move Ake out, move Gahey in, younger. It's like getting young Ake back. So for City, it's an absolute no-brainer. But for me, I look at it and I think he'd be batshit to do that move.
Yeah,
that
means we're going to have a step down, then, doesn't it?
If you look at it from in terms of a defensive depth that we have, I mean, if you take Ake and you take Stones out of their equation, which I think, me personally, I hate to say it because and Rich, you agree how we feel about John Stones, but if they were to both be gone by the summer, you're talking about, I think there's a huge gap there in betwin your first and second choice centre backs in Gvardiol and Diaz, and then after that, it's Kuzanov and Vitor Hayes if they do decide to bring him back.
That's from City's point of view, and I don't disagree. I would love us to go and sign Gahey and another. If we're getting rid of another English defender, go and sign Konza, or sign a couple of top English centre backs. But if you're them, why? If you think I could be one of the best left-sided defenders in the world. It's like when people said, the main reason Zubimendi wasn't interested in City or Declan Rice, because they're looking and they're thinking, well, I kind of want to play in the position where Rodri is. Like, Rodri's just got a Ballon d'Or. Like,
you got a
I'm
point.
not going to play many games with him. And Nico G was a different player. Rodri was injured, for at least 6 months to 12 months. So
He was thrown in the deep end, wasn't he?
Was not at the level that, say, Gay probably sees himself at. So to me, I think we'd be great going in for him, and I totally get why we would. But if I'm him,
but he could fight for his place, and you don't know about injuries.
I mean, Dash just painted the scenario here that if Gavardi or Diaz did go down long term, then we're going to be grateful that we've got him.
That's what I'm saying.
We try to not use what if isn't.
But again, from our point of view, I'm not City. It's a no-brainer. It's going to. But I'm saying, I don't think the deal will happen.
It's a battle between what the club wants and what the player's going to want.
And so it's the James Trafford situation. James Trafford is good enough to play in goal for at least half the Premier League teams. He's a great keeper. He's too good to be on the bench.
The trouble is, Rich,
we actually need United have got Yoro, Delita, Martinez. They have to. Do you know what I mean? Those three as well.
We actually need someone. No matter who it is, we need someone for that cover. Don't know who it'll be.
They do, but United's defense is dog shit. And
shit. I won't even talk about it.
Martinez averages playing about 25% of games because he's always injured. So
he was shit in the last 2 games he's played in.
With respect, if you're De Ligt and you've got to get ahead of Yoro and Martinez, that's not the same as I've got to get ahead of Diaz and Guardiola. Guardiola's better than those 3 put together.
Yeah.
And Diaz isn't far off as good as those 3 put together. So it's just a different comparison.
But if you didn't have Gahey and Stones Ake leave, and then if one of those went down with an injury, and you're relying on Kuzanov or Vitor Hayes, does that concern you a little bit?
No, I think we're going to need to sign 1 or 2 centre backs. At least one fairly experienced. But it will be. I do not think it's going to be a first choice international for one of the top sides in the world, who sees themselves as potentially one of the best centre-backs around and has a choice of all the clubs. It's going to be someone who's either a bit younger and a bit more rare, or maybe a bit older. They're 30 and
which is probably what I would prefer. I'd prefer an older centre-back, someone who understands that they're not quite going to be playing 50, 60 matches a season.
Yeah.
But the second you need them rotate, bang, they're ready to go. Yeah.
Well, if he's not an international, then he's never going to say no, is he? He's going to be there. If he's not fighting for an international place.
Do you think there's a chance that John Stones stays if he decides to call time on his international career? I think for the sake of longevity, he has to scrap internationals.
He's got to manage his injuries, hasn't he? I mean, we can't. But I don't think we can rely on him a lot now.
I have a feeling we're going to see John Stones lifting the Champions League for Bayern Munich.
Well, I was just going to come to. I was going to say Stones has got to Germany.
Vinny Company is the perfect manager for Stones.
You could see it happening. I laugh, but you could see it happening. Yeah,
I've said that.
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to leave England. I don't know. I don't know if he's that kind of player.
He probably doesn't even want to leave Manchester.
No, he may not, and
I could say.
I reckon he would.
Worried about the injuries and things like that, but I could see him doing like a year by year sort of thing, like something like what Phil Jones did at United, where he just season after season, and he just jump in occasionally for a cup match and maybe last 20 minutes of the occasional Premier League game. He wouldn't be on 250k. I think a contract like his, he'd only be on like 100 to 125k. Yeah, he'd be on half the salary. Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, that'll be interesting to see. And I'm not sure who the centre backs. I think one of the centre backs, if Victor Hayes does well, or if we go and sign Livramento and Kuzanov is treated as a centre back, then you're starting to see where it goes. But I think you need one more experienced head. If you've got a youngster or two, you need one more experienced head. You can't just have Guardiola. The beauty of Ake was that he could play left back. So, if Gay, I don't know, I've not really seen it. If he could play as a decent left back,
Well, Livramento would be an ideal Pep player because he plays both sides, really, doesn't he? He can play both sides, so he'd be ideal.
That's sorry, McGov. I was going to say that's what most Pep signings are. He either wants them when we purchase them, he wants them either automatically versatile, or he purchases them knowing full well that when he sees them, he thinks that he can mold them into multiple positions.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So that would be
like, when you
signing.
look at that alone, Livramento seems like a no-brainer on his own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas if you look at some of the other, you look at say Livramento, he would be coming in. And he'd be thinking, I'm a better right back than Nunes. I can play right back. I can make that place my own. So it's a no risk move. But I'm just not sure you'd think that. I'm just not sure you'd think that about Gvardiol, because I think Gvardiol. If I was a young defender, I'd be looking at Gvardiol as probably the best young left centre back on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, we're still going to have like two players for each position, so you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I always try to look at it too, where it's like never mind two players for each position. I always look at your depth based on versatility as well too. Where if you go to every position, and it doesn't matter what the formation is, if you can take every position and put at least 3 players that could cover that position, then that's basically about as deep as your squad can be. And I've always said this too, where it's like everybody says, "Oh, we've got a big squad." It's like, no, we've got a small squad that creates the illusion of having a big squad, and that's what versatility can do for you.
Yeah.
Well, we've still got over 20 players. I mean,
well, I mean, this season's a bit of an exception because we did go over for once. But if you look at like I think it was the post-COVID season. I think 21-22. We were quite a bit of a skeleton squad.
Yeah, there was just players in it who weren't good enough or were long-term injured. I think
it's not they were good enough. It was more the case of that they could play about 3 different positions.
Yeah, but that's
because that was the joys of the false 9 days that we just had hyper versatility basically.
Yeah, because Pep has liked having 15 players that he just rotates. But it doesn't mean we have a small squad. There's often 5 or 6, 7, 8 players sitting outside that because of injury or just the fact that Pep doesn't trust them. Like
he says something interesting here. He says if we lost Bernie and Kova, you're looking at the average squad age being around about 23, and I'm sure that'll drop even lower if Ake and Stones leave as well. So I think he's right there. You're looking at a squad that you could build for dominance over the course of about a decade. Which is what you were alluding to, because you think Gvardiol, if he stays, it could be a 500 gamer.
Yeah. I mean, he could. He's a good enough player, but the point is with that is you do need experienced heads, and I think we've seen at times that you need some experienced heads, and I think in Haaland and Donnarumma and Diaz and Rodri, we have got those players, so we can afford. Kovacic, he's played well under half the games he's been here, so in a sense, and he's barely appeared, for most of this year. So, he's not a massive loss in experience to the team because he just hasn't been playing. Bernardo is going to be the hardest player to replace of any player who has left City.
That's right.
In my lifetime. He's going to be harder to replace than De Bruyne. He's going to be harder to replace than David Silva. He's going to be harder to replace than Aguero. Not because I'm saying he's necessarily better than them, but because he is so unique, and he's so unique to Pep's playing football, and he's so unique in the game. And he was slandered this morning by 2 or 3 City fans on the panel this morning saying Bernardo is not world class, which is, I find, absolutely breathtaking, because he is a player who Pep has picked more than any other player in his career. He is a player who Pep calls to tactically change the team. If we need someone sorting out centre midfield, or someone sorting out the right wing, or someone going over and helping the left back, it's Bernardo who does it. And we're going to have to sign 3 players to replace Bernardo, because I don't see anyone anywhere who's a Bernardo. I think he's unique.
Even the last couple of games, he's been playing, comes deep, collects the ball, and you know.
Yeah, if you get him, you've got to sign a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, and a winger just to fulfil his roles in the squad. So you've got to grow your squad by 2, and I think you know, I just
that's why I think Pep's got to mould someone. Someone's got to be. It's definitely got to be box to box in that middle.
And while they're young too, you can't mould a 27, 28-year-old. Yeah.
No. I hope someone goes and opens a brilliant Portuguese custard tart shop in Manchester, that it's the warmest April, May in Manchester history. And he thinks, who needs, Lisbon and the Algarve when I can be experiencing this over.
Keep dreaming.
Well, what's the correct term? It's pastel de nata. It's pastel de nata, isn't it? That's the
Portuguese term. John Stones. His little John Stones gets anxious leaving the Northwest, wants to stay there, and he feels, I've got to stay. I'll sign on for another 3 years.
I could see you, Rich. I could see you, Rich, when you're over in a couple of years' time. You'll be on your way to the Etihad, and you'll have your first pastel de nata washed out with a nice Vimto.
Yes,
they would go together quite nicely, actually. Vimto and a Portuguese tart.
Yeah. How about
it? Actually, on paper, it sounds really good.
A little hint of Vimto in the custard to give it a slightly, berry flavoured tart.
Wait, could you? Yeah, you could probably put a bit of gelatin and make it like jelly or jam form, couldn't you?
You could easily have like Vimto jelly. I think you could buy it. I don't know if you still can. You could buy Vimto jelly, so you could make little jam tarts with Vimto in them and Vimto flavoured jelly in, and have that.
Oh, okay. It does. It sounds good on paper. I just don't know how. Yeah, I just don't know the logistics of it. But yeah, you might want to claim the patent on that, mate. Because if I get sick of Qantas, I might just.
I don't think that I can get the patent on Vimto. I think it's owned.
No, Vimto Portuguese tarts.
Yeah, but Vimto might take that idea, unless they license me. They could license.
I've paid for a few tarts in my time, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Alan's asleep. Sorry, David. It's past his bedtime. He's got curfews now with the change of time zones. I'm sorry. Yeah. We always get this.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I think. Oh, here we go. The house captain just said Vimto jubblies were awesome.
Yeah.
Any memories there, Rich?
Vimto is just completely awesome. I used to like the Vimto. Used to have Vimto chews, Vimto lollies. Apparently there was a Vimto alcoholic drink. I'm not sure if that was just a Mancunian Vimto cocktail made in the bars of Manchester, or they
I've never heard of that.
Never actually worked with a company to make it. Jeez. But I remember years ago, I think it was Rob telling me about Vimto alcoholic beverages you could get in Manchester. So. It's versatile.
Yeah.
It can be used for so much.
Yeah, I tell you what, I could imagine I could imagine like a house party there. I'd do like Vimto, Vimto Jello, like vodka shots, something like that. That'd be
you
could drink them to your heart's content all night. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and then a bit of Vimto to cure your hangover in the morning. Perfect. It's a very good hangover drink, Vimto.
Yeah, nice in the winter. Nice hot Vimto as well.
I still haven't done hot. Here's the thing: I still haven't done hot Vimto. I've only had cold.
Yeah, it's nice.
Never done hot. Always had cold.
Yeah, if I get a cold, I often have a hot Vimto.
Yeah.
A couple of hot Vimtos in the day just to keep me going.
The problem for me, Rich, is that every time I've been over there when it's been cold, I've been closer to mulled wine than I've been to hot Vimto. And I know which one I prefer. Yeah, so that's just my thoughts on that anyway. January transfer window, do you think that realistically there's going to be any new fresh faces come through the door?
Like I said, I think I said the January window will be busy. And a lot of people have said we're not going to be busy. Even Martin said it. But he's coming round to it now because I think we will do our business early because of the World Cup. Like I said before, if we get
probably
players
talk about Semenyo, to be honest, Gov, because that release clause means you don't have to wait until the end of the January window.
Yeah, and he's not gone to the AFCON. So yeah, I don't know about Semenyo. I'm not sure. Don't know.
I don't know. I think a player like that just offers a different dynamic to what we have, because
I think
he's more of a wide forward than he is a winger like Doku or Semenyo is.
I'm going against what I'm saying because it's physical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we need.
Yeah. Because I think like having a player like him, like a wide playing goal scorer, then you kind of bringing it back a little bit. You're bringing it back a little bit to when we had Mahrez or when it was Sane and Sterling. And I gotta say, as much as I like what Doku's been doing, particularly this season, and Savio I think eventually will improve. He'll become a good player in that. But
I think Savio,
we know how effective and how rapid we were under that.
Myself.
Yeah, under those when Sane and Sterling were there, we know how rapid and how effective we were. And you know, it's like I love trying to draw parallels between different generations or different squads and things like that. But I would have loved to have seen Haaland in the middle of that Centurion front three, or playing up front in those formations we had in the formidable seasons as well.
You see, it's a deal that makes sense. You know, kind of the opposite of what I said about Gay. If I'm Semenyo, I'm looking at City. I'm seeing no one has nailed down, particularly the right wing position.
Different position.
Deco's nailed one down, Haaland's nailed one down. So I'm seeing a team where there is a massive gap. And I think if I get in that team and I play well, I'm nailed down in one of the best teams in the world playing football. So for me, and there's a release clause which City love,
60 plus 5 or something. Yeah, right in our wheelhouse. We love a good 60 million release clause.
Yeah. So I see that as a deal that sounds absolutely perfect and works, and you know that's fine. I just worry about the Gay one. That it's like Livramento. It's a no-brainer for him. I mean, as good as Nunes is, you've got to think, I'm a proper right back. I can get ahead of Nunes. And maybe Nunes has done enough now that we'd probably all keep him around as a backup right back, right midfielder. And
I think he's always been looked as that utility player.
Yeah.
Frankly, and I think every good squad needs a utility sort of player. Yeah.
I think he'd probably do a better job playing up front on the right instead of Savinho at the moment, because I think he's learned a lot about pressing and crossing and all these other things.
Well, he would, because he's on form at the moment, isn't he? Like, you know, he's having a good season.
It's like he's figured it out. What he needs to do, like he knows knows what his role is. Yeah,
I did question Savio. I was getting to that breaking point and saying, but the way Doku's turned out, I mean, I think a bit more patience. Savio could be exactly the same. Like, it's just patience, isn't it?
Yeah.
How far do you go with him? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But Semenyo's is on fire now. Like, are we getting it because he's having a good season? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a flavour of the month. I don't know.
Well, kind of, but I mean, if you look at his stats in terms of minutes played and goal contributions as well, he has been on the up and up every year for the last couple of years. And, you know, that was one of the main things why we decided to go for someone like Omar Mamouche, because his numbers from Eintracht Frankfurt, and I think he was at Hamburg or Wolfsburg before that, has always gradually been on the increase in that. And obviously it exploded, you know, in that first half of last season. That's the reason why we signed him. But we always look at it, if the upward trajectory, if the analytics are showing that they are contributing or the goals or goal contributions per minutes played are on the increase, then that's something that we usually are willing to go into the market for. So if Semenyo keeps on this role, then I think sooner or later he's going to have to accept that, like, hey, some bigger club is going to come for you, with all due respect to Bournemouth, because I think they do great things with under Iraola. Sooner or later, a bigger club is going to have to come for you, and that's the main step up that you do in your career. And you know, if he doesn't do it now, then he could easily end up in football wilderness. So you've got to take your opportunities when they're given to you. And you know, whether it's Arsenal knocking on the door, whether it's City knocking on the door, Liverpool knocking on the door, I think it'll only benefit his career. I just like to hope that I think it's us, because a player like that just offers a much different dynamic in terms of whether he play. And again, versatility, can play across the entire front three. And it just offers a different dynamic, offers different competition against who's currently there.
I'm shouting for physical players, and you know, he's one of them. So, you know,
there's your quota as well, too. Quota player as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I'm now jumping the gun, but I'm looking forward to touch wood. Marmoush coming back after the AFCON. I think he's going to be, if he doesn't get injured, like touch wood, I think he'll be on fire. I think.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Do you think
he's the perfect signing because he can back up number 9, but he doesn't have to play number 9. He can play. He's perfect because we can't sign a proper number 9 to be backup for Haaland because no one's going to want to do it.
We've not seen the best of him yet.
Play wide left, number 10, wide right, and number 9, and be better at number 9 than anyone else. It's the perfect signing. I thought he was going to be our player of the year. I'll be honest. It just this season hasn't worked out. I thought he was by far the best of our signings in January. He was fantastic, particularly at home. He was brilliant last season, and I think he's shown some signs in the last couple of weeks as he started to get some time. But he's I mean,
if anything goes wrong, Rich,
the AFCON's perfect.
We can always revert. If anything goes wrong, we can always revert back to a false 9. We're not one-dimensional. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
If anything happens to Haaland.
Yeah, I think AFCON, it will be a good place to start for Marmoush, to find that form that he had from 12 months ago. I just think right now it's just he just had that bad situation of start-stop. Just because we said in the summer, I think Martin was said it as well too. He thought Marmoush was going to be one of our most important, if not one of our most probably not the best player, but sort of one of our ones who might reap the rewards as much as Haaland in terms of goal contributions, basically. So it's a shame that he's had this start-stop sort of situation. I think it's sort of stunted his form and progress this season. So maybe just a little bit of time away. Hopefully get Egypt as deep into the competition as you can. And if he takes any momentum from that, hopefully he takes it on into the remaining competitions.
Yeah.
But just before you say anything, I'll just quickly do this because Bevo has come in with the gifted five Mancunian Way memberships. If you have received a membership from him, big W's in the chat. Bevo, always appreciate it, mate. And keep up the good work with Luke as well on Not in My Lifetime podcast as well.
Bevo.
Yeah. So big up, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Sorry,
guys. And would you also say the same thing about Ait Nouri as well? And I mean, this is a bit of a different situation because I don't think injuries have. Well, I mean, he's had some, but I don't think they've stunted him as much as they have with Marmoush. But again, he's just had Nico O'Reilly in front of him, and I kind of feel bad for Ait Nouri because there's a great player there. Problem is, you got a younger fella doing a better job.
Yep, it's a bonus that O'Reilly's done what he's done.
Yeah,
Ait Nouri was supposed to be the number 1, left back. But O'Reilly's come on the scene and took his place, and it is a good backup. Do you know what I mean? It's a bonus for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That O'Reilly's doing what he's doing.
I just think it's so typical City. Like we go 10 years dying for a left back, we finally get one. His job's taken over by a 20-year-old midfielder. Yeah. I just love that. You can't make that sort of stuff up. Yeah.
I've loved all these Haaland FCs, and look at us now. Everyone's scoring but Haaland as well. You know what I mean? And I just love it, me.
We seem like Foden's up to the 4th. I think he's the 4th top scorer in the Prem now.
Yep.
I think he's gone level with Ekitike or something, and he's I think he's level with Mateta, and there's two players above him. I think.
The guy from Brentford, he's second.
And Turkey's got is Turkey the highest GNA? I can't believe that.
I think it's still. I think Bruno Fernandes is top, highest. But in terms of assists per minute, Turkey's miles ahead
after the 4-all. Turkey was level with him, but after the 4-all, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But if you did it as in assist per minutes played,
that's crazy.
Miles ahead.
Crazy.
It's just it's
crazy.
It's hard to believe. And like here's me thinking like, I think Pep will still bring him out and make him not play in certain games. Like, just let the kid ball. Just let him ball out. Because he's just that occasional, and people say he's a bit maverick, but I wouldn't say he's maverick over the entire 90 minutes. He'll do the occasional little flick pass, and and people say, he gets dispossessed. And I go, yeah, but Kev used to get dispossessed as well because he was always attempting that ambitious pass.
Well, Pep did say it in his interview, didn't he, a few weeks back? He said, I just want him to do the simple stuff. You know what I mean? Just do the simple stuff. And, someone like that does do things like that every now and again. But the simple stuff is more important. But he's, like you say, he's a bit of a freak, maverick. And we'll
it's funny though. Well, it's funny though, because obviously, you know, you can vote at the end of the season, and like Manchester City's like goal of the season and that. I wouldn't be surprised there's a lot of fans out there demanding like the assist of the season, because they'll all want it to be that Rabona. Well, to be honest, the goal of the season might still actually be, that might actually still be a nomination, because first of all, it's a bloody good finish from Foden, like sort of a semi-long range sort of header. But also too, sometimes the assist is as important as the goal, and it might actually get considered. So we'll see what happens.
No, we've still got half the season yet, Pat.
Yeah, no, I might be getting ahead of myself, but
you know what I mean?
That's how I feel, mate. And I will be getting ahead of myself if we beat Brentford and we're a chance of this Carabao Cup, mate.
Yeah, Pep will have vetoed it. Pep will have said, Premier League, don't you dare make that the goal of the season.
No,
yeah, that gives him license.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. We'll wrap it up in a few minutes anyway. Before we say anything, just apologies, we were a little bit late. I had PC troubles and couldn't log in on my phone. So big thanks to everybody. Thanks for your patience. Glad we could finally get the show to you. As I said, we've had a nice little bit of time off on that, but yeah, we're looking forward to plenty more to come over the coming weeks anyway. Stateside Blues, I believe, will be back on Wednesday nights, I think.
Yeah, I'll be listening.
Apologies, we've probably got our time zones mixed up anyway. And of course, we will be back with Thursday night chat, talking all things leading up to West Ham. I'm sure Martin's got some other topics we'll need to discuss as well too. So we'll keep an eye out for those anyway. I believe he is also doing Oil Brothers with Baz from True Black and White Eyes as well. Baz is probably still Baz is probably still a bit misery guts at the moment after the weekend.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
After having to watch Voltamata, you know, with unleash his best Jamie Pollock.
That Voltamata, no matter what, if he's near a goal, he can score, can't he?
You're right, Mitch. Though I think you said the other day, said that was Jamie Pollock levels of quality. That one.
Yeah. He knows where the goal is.
There you go. Rich Blue Arch just said, have you ever had a pint of Chester's mild or mixed? Absolute nectar.
Chester's.
I can't remember having.
No.
I can't imagine. No. I can't remember having Chester's mild.
It's very hard to beer down south. No way. Because they don't have heads on them. It does my head in down there. You got to have a head.
What Travis had?
Travis head. Oh, here we go.
I must admit,
I'm calling it now. Double ton at his home ground.
I'm becoming a firm Guinness drinker in my middle age.
Yeah.
I think
Rich, you wouldn't say in the last
just
6 months.
Food, Rich.
I can't have a day out or a night out without having at least 2 Guinness now. And if you'd asked me, a couple of years ago, I would have said, "Get that away from me." It did not interest me one bit. Now I love the stuff.
It's just it's a health tonic. It's a health tonic.
I split the G. I split the G every time, or attempt to split the G. I get a bit too ambitious, and I put too many. I get too ambitious, and I put too many underlines. I can never split it. I go too far down. But the other thing too is the last few times I've been out, I've been on nothing but Guinness. I wake up the next day, I feel fine.
Yeah, no,
I'm fine.
It's a well-made drop. Yep. Like there's not a lot added to it. Basically, it's a well-made. It's well-made.
Yeah,
it's
a great drink.
Yeah,
great drink.
I was what Guinness. What do you reckon Guinness with a dash of Vimto would be like?
No,
you can put it in anything.
No, actually, you know what? No, I'm sure. I've been on some away days with some of the local supporters clubs. I don't know. No, I don't know if it was Vimto, but I'm sure it was either Vimto or they put it with dark fruits, Strongbow dark fruits.
Blackcurrant as well.
I can't remember. It was one or the other. But I actually tried it, and it was not half bad. But it could, you know, what it could have also been. It could have also been the stuff they put in like red creaming soda, the strawberry syrup as well. It could be one of them as well. I'm not too sure. I hope it was Vimto, because that would just that seems like harmless fun to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might. And I think the standard Guinness in Sydney, whatever they're doing, it travels better because the Guinness seems a lot better here in the last few years. Maybe it's my taste becoming more custom. But
yeah,
there's more good places that do a good Guinness.
Well, Macca's just said 4 doors down, which is the substitute bar for the Mercantile, which I think is meant to be open on St. Pat's Day next year. That's probably the best. That's probably the best Guinness I've had in Sydney so far. So far.
Yeah, Cheers isn't bad though. Cheers doesn't do a bad Guinness.
Can you remind me, Rich, or the chat?
And about 60% of the price around here.
Remember having a black and tan? I think that's Guinness and blackcurrant, isn't it? A black and tan.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
I don't think Macca's in for the Vimto and your Guinness though.
Yeah,
he just said no, big fat no.
Well, no, I've never tried. I've never tried Guinness with anything in it.
No, I haven't. No,
I've had a chaser with it, a shot, but
I've
never had I've never hurt the Guinness by adding anything.
Can't you do those Guinness shots as well too, where it's like Irish whiskey and then they put like Guinness, like a splash of Guinness or Guinness froth on top of it or something, or it's the other way around? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's things like that.
Yeah, they're pretty harmless. Yeah. We're talking about goal of the season. Dash reckons Diaz is going to put a overhead bicycle kick on match day 38. Yeah, we're here for it, mate. We'll be waiting on that one. Yeah. All right, guys. Before we wrap it up, anything else you wanted to talk about?
That's it, really. Just want to get the win. Get onto West Ham.
Any score predictions, or we're just not going to go near it because we have no idea what the lineup's going to
be? We'll win 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know because of the side. The change. I still think 3 goals, no matter what it is. We'll score 3, no matter what.
Yeah. Screams of 3. I don't know. I think it'll be cagey just because I think we'll do a lot of heavy rotating, but also too I think Brentford will probably be forced to as well.
And I think West Ham on the weekend, we're just going to have fun there.
Yeah. Look,
I really think we're going to go to town.
I'm not treating this like a free hit, but I think at the end of the day, it's like, we'll just say, if things work in our favour, then so what? We carry on and get ready for the 2 fixtures in 2 extra fixtures in February. It is what it is. But
West Ham are going down. We've got to batter them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got to beat these teams fair and square.
Yeah, true. No, I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway. But look forward to that. Of course, we will dissect that a bit more probably on Thursday night chat. As I said, keep an eye out. Stateside Blues, Oil Brothers are all coming up over the next, say, 24 to 48 hours. So if you're new here, obviously, don't be afraid to give us a like, give us a subscribe as well. We're well on our way to 8K. Hopefully we can reach that by the end of the season, but wait and see. Obviously, the YouTube algorithm seems to have changed a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, Rich, but, we certainly have gone from less than 1,000 views on most of our shows, after 24 hours to well over 1,500. So either YouTube has finally sorted out its algorithm, or you guys have come back in force, and it's been fantastic. We know that time zones aren't exactly the best here, not just for Australia but for everywhere else in the world. Because I think most people in America haven't woken up, and people are getting ready for work over in the UK. So we appreciate everybody who comes on, everybody who listens, everybody's a part of the show. A lot of usual suspects in the chat. Always been good to chat with you guys as well. Sorry, mate.
And thanks for all the great drinking advice. A couple of really good posts today.
So you haven't been to 4 Doors Down yet, have you, Rich?
No.
You haven't been. Well, maybe we can stop there before Forest on the 27th.
Yeah, except I'll be in Melbourne.
Oh, that's right. Bugger off then. Yeah.
I'll be at the G.
You'll be at the Imperial. Yeah, you'll be at the Imperial.
I'll be
the Imperial.
I might. Well, I actually met
Half 8 in the morning.
I met a bunch of City fans from Marple in the pub at the Gabba before the game, and they were they'd been in contact with Steve and were planning on going to the Imperial. There was a couple I was chatting to with season ticket holders and some friends with them, a couple of other Blues. I think the brother was now living in the Sunshine Coast. So he was a Blue from Marple. I think it was near Malula Bar.
Nice.
Well, I think they're only like 20 minutes away anyway from each other. Malula Bar and Maroochydore. Yep.
Yeah. So
Coolin,
I think there was a few.
Yes. Nice part of the world.
Yeah.
talking about going out to the game at the Imperial. So I'll be on a plane about 6 o'clock the next morning. So I might have to go straight from the straight from the.
Jesus.
Now you know what? The cricket will be done by 6. You can get a couple of hours nap in before the kickoff at 11:30. And pre-book your Uber to Tullamarine as well, mate.
You can book that. You can pre-book that lounge, can't you, Rich? Is it like 25? I don't know what it is now. There's a lounge that you can book, can't you? You can chill there. You get food and everything.
Yeah, I'll get in the lounge. I can get in the Qantas lounge and get some.
Okay.
Lounge.
Yeah,
there's something.
If you're on a 6 a.m. flight, they're only just opened, and half the time they won't have loaded up the food or anything yet. It'll just be coffee.
Rich, you're fine with your platinum frequent flyer, unlike Spencer Pryor, who has to message me every few months. Or can you get me in, mate?
My son did that at the Oasis.
Rich at golf, and then we'll start talking.
My son did that at the Oasis in Melbourne, because his flight was 7 in the morning. So he after the concert, he just stayed at the casino, and then went straight to the airport and stayed in that lounge.
Straight through crew.
Yeah.
That's what half those mob do when they go do European away days. Just flying. You just fly in mid-afternoon on the day of the match and then out the first thing in the morning.
Sleep on the plane.
Yeah. Easy does it, yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we'll wrap it up anyway. Governor, Rich, big up yourselves. Thank you so much for being a part of the show as well, as always. And guys, we'll look forward to seeing you again, probably same time next week. Keep an eye out for us as well. Obviously, we are on Twitter, Mancunian Way, Instagram, Facebook. Ozzy looks after those. Keep in mind, too, he also does. Sorry?
I was just saying thanks to Blue Heart for the comment.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. No, sorry, I just realized that too. Yeah, thanks, Blue Heart. Yeah. Always been a worthwhile contributor to the channel. Much appreciated. Guys, obviously also too, keep an eye on Instagram, Mancunian Way as well too. Ozzy, I think once a week does his little Instagram lives with MCFC Tone as well. So keep an eye on those. Plenty of they're always having a good chat and always got lots to talk about over there too. So keep an eye on that as well. But until then, we will see you likely same time next week. If not, as I said, Oil Brothers, Stateside Blues, Thursday night chat, all on their way over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. We'll leave you with that, and looking forward to the match on Thursday morning, Wednesday night for most of you. Good times ahead, fun times ahead. It's good being a Blue right now, guys. All the best, and come on, City.
Take care, guys.
See you, everyone.
Go.